Yo, what's up, guys? It is episode 7 of the podcast. Oh my god, Anthony, 7 episodes? That's so many. Wow. 7 weeks you've been doing this now? That's so cool. Don't you also upload on TikTok and Instagram 5 days a week and do stand up comedy every night and also work 2 jobs? Wow, Anthony, you got a lot going on. You must be so tired. How are you coping? Just fine. Just fucking fine. Everything's great. Guys, just give me too much credit here. Like, all that stuff, it's nothing. Like, I'm not even like on the brink of fucking a panic attack because I'm so burnt out. So I don't even know what the fuck you'd even say that for. Like what's everyone getting at? Like what the fuck? So I don't know. It's been a bad week. Nah, the week's been alright. Fuck man, the ring light produces so much heat, or maybe the room's just hot. I don't know. Hot as fuck today. But I don't know. How are you guys doing? I'm good. I'm drinking a can of Monster today instead of my usual water. This isn't sponsored because this podcast gets like 100 listeners, but maybe one day it'll be 100,000. Who the fuck knows? But I'm drinking a can of Monster for the dumbest reason, right? So I quit energy drinks because I've been like addicted to energy drinks since I was like 15, and I decided to quit them because it's a lot of sugar. But every time I buy petrol, I always treat myself to an energy drink because it's like, it's like a reward, It's like a reward for spending the money on petrol. So that's why I have one. Was that an interesting story? Was that a good start to the podcast? Great. Awesome. So I just burped. That's the fucking staple of this podcast, is me just burping all the time, to be honest. But things are actually, going all right. I had a good week. I did stand up a couple times this week. Nearly at 10k on Insta, nearly at 200k on TikTok, which are pretty big milestones. I feel like I should care about it more than I do, But I'm not that excited to hit them. I think I've been doing this so long that my mindset's kind of like, yeah, you should be even further than that point. So that's why I don't care. Because instead of being like, I remember when I hit like 50k, I was like, oh my god, I hit 50k. And then when I hit like 100k, fuck up. Someone just tooted their horn loud as trying to record a podcast, When I hit 100k, I was obviously happy, but I was like, yeah, this is like probably where I should be. And now it's like, 200k, that's okay, about time. Fuck, who cares? That sounds bad. I don't know, maybe I'm being pessimistic. Or is altruistic a better word? No, altruistic doesn't even make sense contextually. But I think you guys know what I'm saying. Patrice O'Neal, I remember once I was listening to I listened to heaps of old Opie and Anthony because all the Patrice O'Neal shit, there's old Louis on there, all the fucking GOAT comedians. If you don't know who Patrice O'Neal is, one of the best comics ever, man. He passed away in 2011, I think, but just left behind this fucking legacy of every comedian is influenced by him, even though he never really hit the mainstream. The guy's a GOAT. But he had a quote that's kind of resonating with me. That's like, your opportunities only ever match your readiness. Like, you only ever get the opportunity when you're ready. And then what he kind of expands upon is when you get something and you're really excited for it, the reason you're really excited is because you're not actually ready. It's kind of nerves, But when you get something and you're like, oh yeah, okay, you're gonna, okay, Brown Cardigan's gonna repost my TikTok. Oh yeah, cool, whatever. It's like you're past the point of caring, of wanting it. What's a better example? Okay, it's like fucking. Let's say you're an actor, and you've been doing audition after audition after audition. You're not getting any roles, and then eventually, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna put you in a commercial. You're just gonna be like, okay, a commercial. All right, sick. Yeah, I've been doing this for 3 years. About fucking time I got a commercial. So you're still happy you got it, but your readiness doesn't match the opportunity. You're ready to be in Hollywood films, Whereas if you're someone who you do your first audition, and then they put you in a movie with fucking Hugh Jackman and Brad Pitt, you're gonna be excited as fuck because your readiness doesn't match the opportunity. You're not ready for it. That's why you're so excited. I guess it's kind of like I played the Comics Lounge a few months ago. I think I did Neil, Dan, and friends. You guys know Neil Kahaka, Dan Maxey, and Max Dari, legends, great guys. They do a show called Comedy Untamed, I believe it's called. And I was on it. It was at the Comics Lounge. And doing the Comics Lounge when you're like a Melbourne comedian, it's like playing in the grand final, you know? And I got that gig like 6 months into comedy. And I was like so excited / shitting myself for like a month. I was talking to everyone about it. I was like, man, do you have any advice when I do the lounge? And it's exactly what Patrice was saying. It's because I wasn't fucking ready for it. I wasn't ready to do it. I was 6 months into comedy. No way I was fucking ready. But then a friend of mine got it, the same gig. I'm not going to name them. But a friend of mine got it. And I was like, man, are you nervous? And they were like, nah. Because they were like 6, 7 years into comedy. So to them, it was like, oh, I'm doing the lounge? Okay, about fucking time. Thank God. Whereas me, I was like, oh my God, I'm doing the lounge. It's the coolest opportunity ever. Oh my God, I hope I do well in front of Neil. You know? Like all that shit. So, yeah. What was my point? Oh, I do this a lot. I have this habit of on the podcast and on stage. I do it so much with stand up. I have like an idea for like something I think could be funny. And I'm like, oh, I'll work it out on stage. And then I go up there. I do like the first bit. And then I get to the point where I'm like, oh, I don't know where to go from here. And everyone's like waiting. They're like, okay, where's he taking it? And I'm like, hold on, let me check this is recording on the fucking... Oh, thank God. Okay. I thought I forgot to press record. I did. Okay. Yeah, everyone's looking at me like, where's this guy going to take this? And I'm like, I don't even know. I'm just talking shit. Like, the first thing that comes to mind is what I'm saying. Well, I did that on Thursday. I had a new joke, and I was doing it to like 5 people on Smith Street, best street in Melbourne. I was doing it to like 5 people, and they were laughing for like the first, couple punchlines of the joke. And then I realized I had nowhere to take it, and I just stood there and I was like, guys, I'm going to be honest. I wrote this like just before I left the house, and I was like, I'll work it out on stage, and I'm up here now and I haven't worked it out. So I don't know. What do you guys want me to do? And they laughed at that because they were a good crowd. They laughed at that. But I think it was like the vulnerability of me just being like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And they were like, I like this guy. This guy's cool. But yeah, I don't know. There's some I don't know, do you guys care when I talk about stand-up? Is that interesting to you guys? I imagine, like, I'm a comedy fan, so if I wasn't doing stand-up, I'd find that extremely interesting. But if you don't give a fuck about comedy and you just follow me from TikTok or whatever, it is what it is. Also, do you know what's hilarious about TikTok? Is obviously you guys probably know I do the PE teacher videos every now and again. And I post my TikToks on Instagram, but sometimes, for whatever reason, I don't. I just forget. I get lazy, whatever the fuck. And for the first like year and a half I did TikTok, I wasn't posting on Instagram because anyone else that does content, it's like once you start posting on Instagram, it's real. Because like people you know are gonna see it, your family's probably gonna see it, people you went to school with, and there's that stigma of like, oh, you're making TikToks, so it's embarrassing. So I didn't do it for like ages. So I've got all these videos that did well on TikTok backlogged that I haven't posted on Instagram. So for whatever reason, if I don't upload a TikTok or something, I'm having like a bad week where I don't have any ideas, whatever the fuck, I can go through my old TikToks and post them. And I've been doing that. And I posted some of the PE teacher TikToks. And some of them popped off on Instagram. And then I get like middle-aged women following me or like, teachers following me or like... Even I get like the far lefties, like with the rainbows and shit all in their bio following me. And they're like, when your stand-up dates? And I'm sitting there like, bro, you're not going to like me. Like, watch any of my other videos. And you realize you're not going to want to come to watch me do stand-up. It's so funny because it's like, they're so not the demo. Like, imagine watching like one of the PE teacher videos where I'm like, Joshua, not on champion. Because that's what every teacher video is. Let's be real. Not just me. Everyone on TikTok doing teacher videos. That's what they do. You guys, what I've noticed when new creators pop up like on TikTok, that's all they do is they do a teacher impersonation, like a mum or dad impersonation, and that's it. Then eventually they move on to like their own niche and something more creative. But that's like the starting 3 things. Anyways, and I thought I'd just shit on some other creators there for no reason. Yeah, like imagine watching Like, imagine watching the PE teacher video. Like, imagine scrolling through my feed. It's the most fucking weird feed. It's like, oh, PE teacher video is Joshua. And then, like, a FIFA video where it's like, bro, fuck Lukaku's got the first touch of a rapist. And then it's like, the voice chats in heaven. It's like, oh, you crashed your fucking helicopter into the side of a mountain and then went, Kobe. It's like, my content wanes so much. Anyways, I've been talking about myself for 10 minutes. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm honestly, guys, not going to lie. This week, haven't been feeling the best. Very stressed, overwhelmed. And yeah, I just need a good night's sleep, you know? So, yeah, even after this podcast, I got a fucking meeting that I can't be fucked going to. I actually can't be fucked going to, but that's a lie. I'm actually very excited for the meeting. I'm very excited for the results of the meeting. It's just having to sit in the meeting is like what I don't want to do. But what else? What have I got on my laptop here? I got abused by a motorcyclist on Kingsway. If you're not from Melbourne, Kingsway is basically like a main road that goes through like the CBD. It goes through like fucking 15 suburbs, I guess. I was driving down, and like when you fucking get off. Sorry for audio listeners, I'm like demonstrating the road. You got to go off. There's like a bend, and to where I had to go, when you go on the bend, you got to indicate right and cut across to the right lane while you're going around a bend that turns left. So it's like an unnatural fucking progression, right? But I always drive down there, so I'm tapped at that indication. I indicate, I look back, there's no one there, I fucking go across, and I turn right like a sick cunt. And whatever happened this time, I do that, and I'm waiting at the light. The light, you guys know, if you've ever driven on Kingsway, the light to turn right takes fucking forever. It takes like you're literally there for like 5-6 minutes, right? And this guy on this motorbike's just fucking revving his engine like heaps, and I thought, like, is he trying to show off to someone? What the fuck's going on? And I'm like, that's weird. So I turn right, and I'm driving down. And then he does like the same 3 turns as me. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. And he's still being loud as fuck on his motorbike. I was like, this is weird. And then I park, and he pulls up next to me. And then I roll down my window, because he always wants to talk about, hey man, is everything alright? And he goes, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm like, whoa. Wow. I was like, what? And he's like, you're a fucking dickhead, mate. Fuck you. And I was like, what did I do? And I was genuinely asking, what did I do? I wasn't being like, cuz, what did I do, bro? Miss, I didn't even fucking do nothing. I was like, bro, what did I do? And he's like, fuck you, learn to fucking drive, you fucking retard. And I was like, whoa. No need to use that word, brother. No need, alright? We're all just people trying to drive around the fucking CBD here, right? And I was like, and he said it so jagged, like he really hit the R. And I was like, dude, it's 2022, man. You can't be calling people that. You also shouldn't be saying it in your podcast, but we're too far gone now. So fucking here we are. Anyways, and I was like, bro, what did I do? And now here's the thing, right? You're probably thinking like, Anthony, obviously you cut him off. Most likely that's what happened, because I head checked. I didn't see him because he was on a motorbike. It's possible he was in my complete blind spot. But the thing is, I'm blind in my right eye, right? Which now you're like, Anthony, you fucking can't even see, cunt. You definitely cut this guy off. I have blind spot sensors in my car because I'm smart. My mum made me get them when I got my license. So when I indicate, if something's in my blind spot, this fucking light lights up like fucking beep, 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 beep to tell me someone's in the blind spot, so I don't kill anyone when I'm driving, right? So I don't think I cut him off. But anyways, back to me parking my car. And yet this is somewhere I always park my car. So now I'm like paranoid that every time I'm there, he's just going to come and key it. But anyways, and he's like, learn to fucking drive. Which honestly, that's good advice. I'm not the best driver. So I'll probably take that on board. But it was like, I was just like, bro, what did I do? And he goes, stop being a fucking smartass. And I'm like, and then he's like, I know your face. I'll come fucking find you. I'm gonna bash you. And I was like, all right, man, whatever. You know, truthfully, he would bash me. In stature, he was bigger than me. I'm like 5'9", 70 kilos, right? Also don't know how to fight. If you want to bash me, you probably can. It's not an achievement to be able to bash me. It's like stealing candy from a baby, right? It's like touching a kid as a priest. It's easy, right? And he goes, I know your face now. I'll come find you. What does knowing my face have to do with coming to find me? It's like, does he have like fucking facial recognition technology on his motorbike where he's going to be like, oh, this is the face, zoned it in. He's 8 kilometers away to the east. Okay. It was like, I was right there, bro. You had the opportunity. You had the fucking opportunity. But, it's been like 6 days and I haven't been bashed by that guy. I haven't even seen him. But I still want to know what I did because the only thing I can think of is I had to have cut him off. But because of the blind spot sensor thing, I don't think I cut him off. So I don't know what the fuck I did. Also, I feel sorry for him. Because do you know how much of a bad day you got to be having to like follow someone? That also makes me think because he was so angry. It was like he could have been having a horrific day. Maybe he just got fired. Maybe he lost a loved one. Maybe his girlfriend cheated on him. I don't fucking know. And I was just the unlucky guy that copped the wrath. But you got to be so angry to follow something. Dude, he was following me for like 4Ks through South Melbourne. Do you know how angry you have to be to follow someone and then like abuse me like that? I wonder if he felt good about it after. So yeah, I don't know. Shout out to that guy, I guess. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck motorbike riders anyway. What else? There was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh, I've been listening to Eminem a lot this week because I just been listening to the albums at the gym. When I go to gym, I just throw on an album and I listen to the whole fucking album. Like, oh my god, Anthony, do you go gym? I can tell you're fucking huge. Yeah, I know. Thanks, guys. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to boost my ego, alright? It's fine. Man, I watch people take sips of their drink on like duo podcasts and it seems so natural. And when you do it on like a solo podcast, it's nerve-wracking because you're under pressure to not have any silence, you know? But it is what it is. I've been listening to a lot of Eminem. And I was like an Eminem fanboy in high school. If you knew me in high school, you're probably like, oh my god, not this shit again. Because I used to like post his lyrics on Facebook and be like, he rhymes 32 syllables in 3 lines. Legend. I was one of those fucking guys. And I thought his like backstory was so cool. So I used to fake having like some depressive backstory because I wanted to be like Eminem. It's fucking weird stuff. But I was listening to his first like 3 albums because I did a 3-day split. So I listened to the Slim Shady LP on the first day. Fucking tapped album. So fucking good. The cunt's just unhinged. So fucking unhinged. Like he's raping. He's rapping about killing his wife and dumping the body with his daughter. And also in the song, his daughter plays with the murder weapon like it's a toy. Raps about, you know, all kinds of drugs or shit like that. And I wasn't alive in the 90s. They came out the year I was born, 99, right? I wasn't alive then. I just contradicted myself, like fully honest. I wasn't sentient then to know what the fuck is going on in society, but I don't think people were doing that type of shit, especially like a white guy, right? Like a white guy to come on and just be saying this crazy shit. It's no wonder everyone gravitated to it because people like chaos. Well, look at Andrew Tate, why he's doing so well. Because it's like one, either you agree with the shit he's like there's 3 types of people. One's like people that agree with everything he's saying. There's the people that are like, I think he's a bit of a dickhead, but I actually kind of like some of the stuff he says. And there's the 3 people that are like, I don't like him, but you can't deny the cunt's entertaining. I have to listen to everything he says. And then the 4, there's people that fucking hate Andrew Tate, right? I think it was pretty much would have been the same thing with Eminem when he popped up on the scene, right? I burped again. I'm pretty sure I burped into the microphone that time. I'm sorry, guys. That was a bad one. So what was I saying? So yeah, I think that's why people just like a train wreck, or people like being exposed to stuff like you're not meant to talk about. That's why I think comedy is so powerful, is because most comedians speaking about like taboo stuff, and they're saying stuff you're not meant to say, and that's the attractiveness of it. So I think the same thing kind of happened with Eminem's first album. And also, he's like this 27-year-old guy at the time. So I imagine, I think he was 27 when Slim Shady LP came out. So he's like this guy that fucking grew up in this like harsh upbringing. His mum was on drugs. Went through the system, all that shit. He lived a shit life for 27 years, and he comes up all angry, and he's got all this fucking angst and this shit he wants to get out, and he just unloads it on this album. And then you mix that with the fact that he's talented at what he does. It's fucking just a great listen, and so good to listen to with Jim. They came out in 99, and then the next album, Marshall Mathers LP, is probably better. It's probably better than the Slim Shady LP, and it's even better. What I'm trying to get at here is like Eminem's journey as a man. I think that's like a really interesting topic. Is when you speak to like dudes in like their 50s and 60s and hear about their journey as like a man. And then it's like Marshall Mathers LP comes out and he's had, the taste of fame for like a year. And he's seen that people love his stuff and people hate his stuff, and he leans into it. And he's probably still got a bunch of the same feelings. I imagine he's probably still angry inside at that point, because it's like, he's like, fuck you guys, like I went through this, now I'm successful as fuck. And then he's still on that high, and he's also a drug addict on everything. Also, as well, people that didn't like him back then, it's like, what did you expect him to be like? Like, this isn't some, like, Aussie private school kid from fucking Brighton rapping about doing cocaine. Like, this guy lived a fucked life. Yeah, and he does Marshall Mathers LP, and so he's probably 27, 28 when he recorded that. I imagine some of it's probably songs that didn't get on the Slim Shady LP. And it's even better. And it's like, he's the same, but it's like, I'm the same, but I'm successful now. Another great fucking album. Then 2 years later, The Eminem Show, which is the best of the three, in my opinion. I think maybe his best album. And it's like, he's full on at that point in the spotlight of fame. He's had it for like, he's been famous for like 5 years at that point, so he's used to it. I think he's had time to reflect on his journey and coming up, and now he's like, I went through all this is where I am. Because that album, even though he's still on drugs, he's still like a fucking unhinged cunt, but he's definitely matured at that point. I think he would have been like 30, 31 when it was recorded. He has a lot of songs about being a father. He has a lot of songs about his influence on the world. But what I like about, he has songs about his influence, but he's like, why the fuck would you let your kids listen to me? He's like, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, he's like agreeing with the parents. Because like people are like, oh, my kids shouldn't be listening to Eminem. And he's like, yeah, they shouldn't be. What the fuck are you doing? Be a better parent. That's hilarious. But like, yeah, it's like a more mature, like he's still unhinged, he's still on drugs, but he's talking about, how his view of the world has changed. There's a lot of political stuff. He's a father. He talks about, he's got custody of his daughter and shit like that. And fucking, his influence on the world. And it's like, this is really interesting. And then Encore comes out. And I don't know where he was at, like, with his, stage of drugs and shit like that. But Encore comes out. Not as good as the previous three. Still a good album. But, like, definitely not as good as the three. And it's like, fuck, at that point, I think the cunt was just lost. Because even Eminem Show, he talks about how he's, like, starting to realize that his drug use is being a problem. Instead of just, in Slim Shady and Marshall Mathers, what he puts out is like, oh, I'm just fucking partying, I'm rich and famous, I'll do what the fuck I want to do. And then in that album, he's like, fuck, like, I think in Drug Ballad, that's a song he has. I think it's in Eminem Show. Literally, the outro is him just going, these drugs really got a hold of me. These drugs really got a hold of me. It's like him coming to the realization of it in the song. It's great. And in Encore, I think he's like fully at a point where he's just like, the fame's not new to him anymore. He's probably calmed down on his partying lifestyle. Imagine he's like 33 at that point. And like he's just like seems more chill. And I think that's why that album isn't as good. He's not as unhinged. He's not Eminem anymore. He's not Slim Shady, you know. But I don't know. I think it's just very interesting to fucking see the progression. And then I know, obviously, like then after Encore, he fucks off for like 5 years because he goes to rehab, right? And then Relapse comes out, which I love Relapse. I love that album, but Eminem himself has said he doesn't like it. So, he doesn't like it. And then like Recovery is probably one of the greatest albums of all time, but people didn't like it because people want him to be the unhinged cunt that he was when he was, 27, 28. But by the time Recovery comes out, he's like 40. His kids have grown up a bit. You're just more mature. You've experienced life to fucking more of a degree. It's like, of course, it's not going to be the same. But yeah, I'm going to listen to those albums. Like, I got to finish Encore because I was meant to listen to it today at gym. So I listened to it on the car on the way there. So I listened to like the first 4 songs. And I realized I forgot my fucking AirPods. But I'll listen to Encore and then I'll listen to Relapse and Recovery probably. And I'll come back and we'll touch base again about Eminem. Because I think it's just so interesting. Because like growing up, you're like, oh yeah, this cunt's famous. It is what it is. But now, I think you just like, I'm more like, well, like before fame, he's just a guy. He's just a guy that's really fucking good at what he does. And everything he says is really real. So yeah, I think that's interesting. I'm so sorry if you're not an Eminem fan and you had to listen to this 15-minute story of me listening to all his albums. But you guys don't get what I'm saying, where I'm like, fucking, that's interesting. I shouldn't have said that. I'm trying to stop being like, does that make sense after I say stuff? Because it makes me just seem like a fucking insecure, babbling moron. Does that make sense? Did you understand my incoherent thoughts? Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I have a meeting now, so I'm going to wrap it up. Didn't even reach half an hour today. I'm sorry. But yeah. Oh, actually, I do want to say, I was meant to say this last episode, but I completely forgot. Literally, fucking thanks for listening. Like, it blows my mind that, 100, sometimes 150 people just listen to me talk for half an hour. And like, you guys are just fucking great. Like, you message me afterwards and you'll talk about it. Like the dude I mentioned last week, Vince, he was like stoked I even talked about him on the podcast. Like, shout out Vince. He messaged me after every episode. Even Jade sometimes messages me after some of the episodes. This dude, Denny, I think his name is, he's been a follower for like ages. Like, shout out to you guys, man. Like, you're fucking sick. Like, before I was doing content and I used to see creators like thanking their fans and being like, you guys make this all worth, I always thought it was just bullshit. But it's so true. Like, it literally fucking makes my day when someone messages me like, hey man, I'll listen to the podcast. Loved what you said about this, and this. Thought it was so interesting. Like, it's the best feeling. So thanks guys. I'm going to peace out. I got my meeting now. Hopefully it goes well. Take care. Have a good week. I'll catch up with you next Monday.